and welcome to Price Action GPS. I'm the Market Surfer, here with your morning report for August 16th, 2023. Right off the bat, I would like to read this explainer. What's next for China's Evergrande after missing coupon payments? I want you to notice the date. September 7th, 2021. So, I'm sure a long time ago, I couldn't tell you which video, we did a video when this first broke about how contagion will be the new word. Just to show you how long it takes for this tsunami to hit land. This was December of 2021. So 18 months ago. And it's starting. Well, it's not starting, but the real effects are starting to show up. Real estate empire held by one of China's richest women is weeks away from a $199 billion collapse that could dwarf Evergrande. So here you go. Debt crisis. $199 billion of total liabilities at the end of the year. Of course, for the first public default, it doesn't make the payments within 30-day grace period. So they're within their 30-day grace period, but they haven't made their payment. China suspends youth jobless data after record high readings. I had to put this in here. China suspended publications of its youth jobless data on Tuesday, saying it needs to review the methodology behind the closely watched benchmark, which has hit record highs in one of many warning signs of the world's second largest economy. So in other words, I don't like what the numbers are saying. I have to change how we figure these numbers out. I'm just saying real estate is the lifeblood of wealth and assets in this world. And the crazy part about the Chinese real estate is these people have paid for homes and been paying mortgages they don't even live in yet. So if these companies are belly up, what happened to all the money people were paying and didn't even get their homes yet? So if you still think we're in the fourth turning, I really think we're in the third turning. We are in the unraveling, because this is when everything falls apart. All the trusted institutions are lost, and I think we're going to go through that over the next 5 years, unfortunately. And this goes back to you will own nothing and be happy. If interest rates are 18% and we have high inflation, who in the working world can afford a home? If you buy it, I'm sure renting will be easier than buying. Or renting will be tough if you want to rent a single family home. The hoops you have to go through will be so strict. But you can always live in public housing. I mean, that's relatively easy to get into. I just think we have a possibility of ending up in that world. So I will go on to the news, or at least today's earnings for today's Wednesday, the 16th. And Cisco has earnings. That will be interesting. 3D Systems, Alarm.com. Here's everything that has earnings today. You can find out which one appeases you. Give me a shout and I'll look at the chart. But it will be all about consumer spending. And today's housing starts at 8:30. Building permits, industrial production at 9:15. That's going to be interesting. Capacity utilization. But most importantly, at 2 o'clock, the FOMC meetings from July will be released. So the market will only be adjusting to hear these. This goes back to when we talk about earnings. The fact that earnings are just, you have your earnings, what you made compared to the estimation of what they expected. And then you have your forward guidance. So FOMC, I would say, this is their forward guidance. When we hear these minutes today and people talk, it'll be everyone talking. It'll have dissent. It'll have everything. So it'll give a clearer picture, and most, I would say, institutional and large traders will adjust their positions based on this wording. Then we have initial jobless claims tomorrow. and then nothing Friday. So I think Friday will be absolutely chaos in the market. It'll be extreme volatility because all these numbers will be in, and nothing will hold them back on Friday from getting in early and trying to adjust their positions based on the FOMC minutes and these three numbers. All right, now let's get to the charts. Yeah. Well, I think there's a little shadow up top. All right, this is Bitcoin. We are in our right there. It's still holding. So how I say that three bottoms right there. There's your watermark. Right there is dead center of that. It seems to be holding. We can still go up, but the momentum seems to have flipped to the downside. So this may just continue down. We're under the moving averages, although that is a level of support. Being under the moving averages in the 4 hour may not hold too well. Same thing with the dollar index. I'm sorry, this is really, and it covers up where it says dollar. Sorry. In the time frame. So here we go, the dollar index. We're going to have some support here. We could still rally up to 103.96 or 104, which would coincide with a lot of this going on. So this would be dollar strength down to 200 period moving average, and we should get some stabilization there. Amazon. Obviously, I'm not saying we can't take that out. I would expect a closing of the gap and then easily getting up to the 146. I would say this is more of in a trading pattern than in a buying pattern. I would trade just to get the volatility in this little move. More likely to short it with options on the way down to about 106. And we have the Spiders Regional Banking ETF. I'm still waiting to hit that. Move, it's pushing up again. We're at 121. We start getting up past this high right here, above 133. This area is going to get tricky. We over 150, and that is when the market panics. 2 year, we got triple top here. We really think short-term money. Maybe the yield curve will invert. Maybe the long-term bonds will stay at 4%, 5%, and 6% respectively, and the shorter-term bonds will drop to, say, 1.5%, 2%. I'm not sure. I'm speculating because of how money works. They usually buy long-term debt at 4% and sell the short-term debt at shorter. It's kind of like options. And options, I don't know if you call them spreads, but forget the exact terminology. But I'll buy longer-term options and sell the shorter options based on what I own on that. Or I have in the past. Right now, I don't see the money in the options like they used to be. So that's looks like it's setting up. And right here, two bottoms. We could get a third. I still expect this 116 to be the point in which everything turns around. And that rollover is the 30th. So that's the end of the month. Another 2 weeks. SDS is still pushing to the upside. So I thought we were going to stop at that gap and come back down to the moving averages. Palantir, that should be rolling over. A triple top. Which this would be the 5 of the Elliott wave. But if this is a 1 and a 2, this is just 1 of 3. So this could be a very long ride to the upside after we get some support here. Starbucks, waiting for that to roll over. It's still holding. You know, it's the pressure is still to the downside. Spotify, waiting for that bottom. Okay, so going forward, I'm waiting for these trades to turn around and get in them. So I will continue to do the show and every aspect that I'm doing it. But when this starts getting heated, it is really going to be about what I'm trading. Because I won't say I lost opportunities. I'm doing too much on these videos and news and what would sound good on a video and not paying attention to stuff I should be paying attention to for my trading. So this right here, I'm waiting to get to that point. Ride it up to there maybe. If it continues to fall, it will, but we're going to get a bounce off of that right there. There should be enough volume of buying in that price zone to push this up. Same thing with PayPal, waiting for the same. Well, we can get to the trend line, though. I don't know if that low is going to hold. I'd expect a trend line. But we are diverging already in the 4 hour, so that wait for that to set up. I'd like to ride that to close that gap. Same thing with Generac. Generac looks like a nice turnaround right here, and we have divergence, but I would still, I don't know. We didn't quite close that gap. Let's see how that holds up. Apple did roll over. This is what's going to affect the S&P 500. This rolling over. See, futures are to the downside. The momentum's already, the momentum is under. Oof, man. This is really running out of steam. I would say this should fail to there. HBI is looking good. Let's see what the volume is. The volume's a little light. Maybe Friday I'll have a sell-off. Outer CNA showing it may hold there. So if you didn't have your stop in, this may hold and go back up. And here's Apollo Group, finally starting to roll over. We're under the RSI's under the moving average. The momentum's to the downside. We're at support level of that bottom of that candlestick. We break that, then we start falling down to here, and then the moving averages come into play. And with that being said, everyone, this is a value for value endeavor, and I would like to thank everyone for showing up here and supporting us. Most importantly, it's your lover of knowledge. I have to read this. He puts stuff here all the time. He helps me all the time. He sends me notes behind the scenes to help me do the show better. It's a dear friend of mine. A la carte is the reason I'm here. The small snapshot overview often reflects the largest of pictures. Your snapshots are overwhelmingly accurate, succinct, and well thought. I started listening to your podcast, your show, since day one on this platform. I stay here for the loyalty. Thank you, and thanks to No Agenda Tube. That sums it up. I love this community. Thank you, Sarah. That was wonderful. Wonderful. And little things like that keep me going. Sir Alex, the Albi wallet has me confused. It switched my emails and changed everything. So I would like to pull up and show who's boosting, but I can't get that right now. And that will be fixed soon. So once again, thank you, everyone. If you're watching this on anything other than the No Agenda Tube, or even if you are watching this on No Agenda Tube, don't forget you can always check out podcastapps.com and download Podverse or CurioCaster because they work great with video. And that's just the way of the future. Sooner or later, as I do how-tos and 101s, it'll be on that platform. And of course, the No Agenda Tube. So once again, thank everyone for their support and their courage. Most importantly, stay safe and effective.